Hey, this is BA, and welcome to GANN Price and the Key to Lost City. Now, it's been about 3 weeks. I've been away. I've had a guy from, a trader friend from India come in, and he was here for a little over a week. And then I went through all the software upgrades and upgraded to fiber optics here at the trading office and everything. So I've had quite a busy time, and I finally settled down today, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this new video capturing software and get a video out that I've been meaning to do actually for 3 weeks now. So anyway, we'll get started with that. This is from page 127 of Luther Jensen's book. No, I don't sell the book. You can get it free on the internet or just about any other place. In this, he's talking about the square of 90, although he's not doing it here. Now, I've made other videos on this, and you really need to see those other videos to really appreciate this one. I made one called the Jensen-GANN connection, and I think that that's really important as a primer before you get into this. Okay, and he says, and keep repeating the 90-degree square at highs and lows. Related is the phenomena of markets staging price surges of 11 calendar days. See that? Now, this is WD-GANN's square of 90, all right? And in my previous video on the Jensen-GANN connection, I stated that Jensen in his book explains how to use the square of 90. Okay, WD-GANN does not in any literature exactly explain how it works. Okay, so it's important, right? So what these are is there was a few GANN overlays that GANN made. And what they are is like this one is a square. It's 90 by 90, 90 days by 90 price points. And you see the days running across the bottom here, and you see the price points going up. And it's a 90 by 90 square. And in the bottom of here, you can see that because of the square size, it was 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and so on. So he's going by 4s across, and he's going by 4s up. Now, the 4 is not a magic number. It's just that way because that's the size of his squares. These are 4 units by 4 units, okay? And what GANN would do is GANN would have this chart paper that was this units, and he would draw on there the highs and the lows going across, okay? And you know, it just like Jensen did, okay? And then he would have a whole bunch of writing on there and everything else. But these plastic overlays, then they went on top and they could be moved around on that paper. All right. And that's a very important thing to do. Now, what you see here, like I said, is 048. So he's got these numbers. But also, you'll notice here, out of this 048 sequence, he's got 11 and a quarter. Okay. He's also got some other numbers there. But this is Jensen's 11 days that he's referring to. That's exactly what that is. Okay. It's an eighth of the square of 90. Now, the square of 90 doesn't work in all markets. It's market specific. Like I trade IBM options, and the square of 90 does not work in IBM. Okay. It absolutely does not. I have to use a different GANN square for that. And there's ways of knowing which square is applicable to what markets. Now, I know a lot of the GANN gurus out there say, you know, because they get asked, well, where do I anchor these things? And of course, it's major highs and lows is the answer. And that's correct, but it's incomplete. These can also be anchored at minor highs and lows. We're not going to get into that, but I could show you proof from WD-GANN. If you go look at his charts, you can see these 3 main angles here, okay, that he draws even from minor highs and lows, okay? And there's a specific reason why a particular high and low, doesn't matter if it's large or small, gets this thing put on it, the square of 90, or not. There's an exact reason. It's not random. You just don't put it on any old high and low and then you square out and the magic happens and you make millions of dollars. It just doesn't work that way, okay? So what you do here is you have to know certain information to be able to use this. Now, I will tell you one market that this does work on, and Jensen even has this in his book. This works on the Dow. Okay, the square of 90 does. It also works on the S&P, and I can name a whole bunch more, but I'm just not going to do that right now. Okay. Very important concept. So, like I said, go back to Jensen's book and study what he says about the square of 90. Very important concept. Okay. Now, on to this next section. I've been meaning to write this. I've had people email me on this and ask, because I tipped my hat in another video, but I'm just now getting around to it 3 weeks later to actually get this information out. I call it the key to the lost city. W.D. Gann stated there are some stocks I, meaning Gann, has never made any money off of. Okay? There are some stocks I have never been able to make any money off of. That is saying a lot, since W.D. Gann is known as a legendary trader. Well, what's going on here? Why can't W.D. Gann make money off of certain stocks and commodities? We need to know that, because if he can't do it and he's legendary, what the hell's our chances of doing it? You see? Then he goes on to say that he almost always makes money with MEXPET, which, Gann lived in the early 1900s. That stands for Mexican Petroleum. Gann called it MEXPET. In fact, he states, it's as if in MEXPET I'm making the marks myself, meaning the highs and lows. Okay? Now, that's in stark contrast to this whole concept of not being able to make any money out of certain stocks and commodities. George Baer said the same thing in his work. I also made a George Baer video. Actually, I think a couple of them. But so anyway, you have to keep this concept in mind at all times, especially if you're a trader. The golden key, unknown by 99.9% of the viewers of this video, is that there is a relationship between the stock, currency, index, commodity, whatever that you trade and you. What? Yes, look, would you go, I'm not, I have to do this from a certain point of view. If you're a guy, okay, if you're a female, reverse this. But if you're a guy, you don't go into the mall one day and just, out of all the women that are in there, go look at one and point to her and say, I'm just going to marry her. You don't do that. That'd be stupid. Why? It's because there's relationship factors there that need to be ironed out. Is she going to be good for you? Is she really the best selection? Okay? Or is she going to make your life hell? And women, if you're viewing this video, reverse it. Okay? Reverse it. Is the guy's going to make your life hell? I mean, you know this. Okay? Women intuitively know this. Well, it's the same thing with the stock or commodity, okay? There is a relationship there. Think about what W.D. Gann said. There's some stocks and commodities that he's not been able to make any money out of. There's others that's if he's making the marks himself, okay? It's the same, and that's a critical concept, and I've never, ever seen this presented out there anywhere. Let's talk about 2005 and how this was discovered by this presenter. In 2005, I put a mailer out to a few hundred people I knew, I asked, look, if you've had a real doozy of a bad trade, if you've had a real loser that's really, hit you hard or whatever, write me about it. Let me know what, I didn't want to ask him for financial information, but I asked him, let me know the date, let me know what it was, kind of what happened. And so that, and so I could review it. And I got a whole pile of stuff. I mean, it was a big, bad pile of stuff that I was really dreading getting into when I sat down to it after it was all printed off. And out of those, about 3 people basically said the same thing. Basically, they said, BA, there's one stock or commodity, whatever, currency, whatever, that I can consistently make money off of. There was 3 people that said that. And so I was looking at this pile, this large pile, I could start with these 3 people. Well, due to certain factors, I started with the 3 people because, that was, I felt very important at the time. To be able to figure out what the connection was between them and the stock or commodity that they're trading. And so I dove into it. And so I went and interviewed them. And some of the questions I asked were like, where are you at in your GAN studies? And some people say, well, BA, the best you can say I use is some moving average lines. Well, that's, that tells me they had little to no GAN. And I would go back and I'd say, look, so you're saying you basically don't understand anything about GAN. And they said, yeah, that's right. I just, use some moving averages and stuff. I said, well, how consistent are you? And they'd, basically I walked away with, they were about 80% accurate, but their losers, or in addition, their losers were small. Okay, they weren't getting wiped out on the downdrafts. They would quickly know that something was wrong when they placed a bad trade. So they were in tune with these stocks and commodities now. And then the third one was, what do you mean by good money? Are you making $50 a month? And one guy summed it up for the group. He said, BA, I'll put it this way: all my bills are paid. I don't have any debt. And I said, okay, and all this is related to this stock or whatever that you're trading. And they said, yeah, okay. So that pretty much wrapped it up. And so that's what it began. Now, over the years, as the years went by, okay, and this concept was developed, I've helped people find their stock or commodity. There's certain techniques out there. In one way, anyone can do this. You don't need me. Your first 3 trades in something's going to tell you all you need to know. Okay, now there's ways to do this where it doesn't cost you any money at all. But if you take 3 trades and 2 are good and 1 small loss that didn't feel right from the beginning, something's up. Okay, you can generally make money from, those kind of things. And then you would, take your 4th trade and your 5th trade and kind of make sure that you're getting around an 80% accuracy. Okay, if you take 3 trades and 2 were gigantic losses and 1 kind of went, sideways for a little bit on you, to where you didn't make any money, that tells you right there that thing's no good for you. You're dating a crack whore. Okay, you're dating someone on crack, as an example. Okay, because I compare this to relationships, because that's exactly what it is. Some marriages are good and some are going to tear you apart, you see. All right? It's just a matter of time. Well, the same concept is applied to financial instruments. So the key concept here is to find something that works consistently for you. If you're out there, if you're getting beat up all the time, it doesn't matter how much GAN you have. That damn thing hates you. You see what I'm saying? That is important concept, and you need to think hard on that. That thing hates you. There's all the proof And I know some guys that keep trading stuff years and years, same damn thing, and it keeps beating them up and beating them up and beating them up. It's like they're caught in a loop. I call it a negative feedback loop. Okay, but I've also interviewed millionaires that they know GAN and they studied them, but they don't have anything that's consistently workable, that's accurate and actually WD GANs, and they've made millions, but they did it trading only 1 instrument. I also had an individual say, yeah, I quit trading. I was like, why did you quit trading? They said, well, this one stock I was making all this money in, and I stopped trading it, and I went over to this other stock. See, they didn't know this concept. I went over to this other stock, and I just started losing money. I gave all my money back. So I quit. And I was like, did it ever occur to you that you have, with the stock that was good to you, that you have a particular relationship with that stock? And they're like, no, I never thought of it like that. Okay. So, you're talking 2005 is when I discovered this. You're talking over 10 years now. This is 2016. So I've worked this with a lot of individuals. I've helped people find their own stock, and I've consistently warned other people that they need to find their own stock because they don't have it. Okay, and that goes into that negative feedback loop. Very important, critical concept here, and most traders are unaware of it. If you continue to lose money on something, it's a sign, brother. It's a sign. Okay? If you have gained insight from my videos, subscribe so you can get the latest on my free market calls, updates, commentary, and teachings. Now, most people don't watch the end of videos, so I'm going to put in a little bit of tunnel decoding in mine. On page 239 of Tunnel, it says perfect working order. On page 337, it says perfect working order. Okay? In both places, they're talking about Marie, the angel of mercy, which we call MAM for short. Okay? Ma'am, as you know, flies at about 1,000 miles per hour. What is ironic is that the difference between these two dates that is mentioned, perfect working order, is about 1,000 days. That's probably not a coincidence. Knowledge is priceless. Hey, this is BA reminding you you can succeed. Take care. Bye.